Hello everyone, my name is Professor Ken Newhouse. I am an instructor of communication at Jefferson College in Hillsborough, Missouri, and also at Eastern Gateway Community College in Youngstown, Ohio. Today I will be delivering a message actually tailored for a few of my classes, public speaking and then also fundamentals of communication, but since this is open to the public, I would like you guys to be able to take something away from it in this short lesson today on public speaking. So, today's lesson is titled Public Speaking, What Are You Afraid Of? I'm going to go over a few different things today, hopefully giving you guys some different tips on becoming a more effective communicator, hopefully reducing your fear when it comes to public speaking, and some helpful tips as well to become that effective communicator that you all want to be. Now first, there are several studies throughout the years that have been conducted in the United States, and a lot of people's number one fear has come out as public speaking. And as we go throughout this lesson today, I'm going to be asking you guys, number one, what are you afraid of? Which I know the answer to, since I have a lot of students who give me their answers, and then actually other people and just in person who I ask, what are you afraid of when you deliver public speeches? And it's not too shocking, but you'll find out shortly what that is. And then also, are your fears rational? Do they make sense? And lastly, how do you overcome those fears? So, there are a few different things. I've listed the top 3 reasons that my students who are watching this, you know what I'm going to be talking about today. Number 1 is judgment. Number 2 is stumbling over words, and number 3 is forgetting information. That is what I get personally from my classes. Number 1 is the most important. As a college student, you're pretty much at that age where people start to expect more of you. You're normally 17, 18, 19 as you enter your freshman year in college. I do have some students who do dual enrollment, and I'm sure some of you as well are doing dual enrollment who might watch this video. And some of my students are 15, 16, and 17. They're actually younger than that early adulthood age of 18 and 19 who I see first come to college, who are in my basic level communication courses. So the first thing, judgment. When you get up in front of the class, what is your number 1 fear? And you know that is being judged by your fellow classmates and also by your professor, which could include me. Is this fear rational? Absolutely not. When you get to college, you are your own individual. You are that person, the only person who is out there, who is getting your grade, who is striving to get that degree, or whatever career path you want to go down. It is you and you alone. Yeah, there's going to be people along the way who help you. There are going to be people along the way who give you helpful advice. But in the end, it is you and you alone who will earn that degree over time. And judgment. All of my students are fearful of this. It's really shocking. I don't mind being judged when I'm up there because sometimes when I give these lessons, it's not my best. But on other days, I feel like I give a killer lesson and the class learns a lot. And I do ask that. I do ask that of them, hey, are you guys getting a lot from this class? Are you learning a lot? And the response most of the time is, yeah, absolutely. It may not be the most fun information, and I totally understand that. I really do. Being 27, I was in college just a few years ago as well, and I'm currently working on my PhD. It's a struggle. But again, you really shouldn't fear judgment, because you personally are out there trying to succeed just as every single other student who is paying for their schooling, who is out there working full-time at 18, 19 years old, out there taking out student loans, whatever it may be, however you're paying for your schooling, you and you alone are there to be successful, and so is everyone else. So, that fear of being judged may have been there with you in middle school and high school, but you should throw it out the window when you get to college. You really should. Go in there with an open mind and expect and know that every single person in your class or whatever class you're in, even the communication classes I have, and I've told this to you guys, and for those watching, this is you. You are going to be very successful when you deliver the speech, and I know you personally can do it. Moving on. Forgetting information and also stumbling over your words are other, I wouldn't say, yeah, they're probably embarrassing, and I do it periodically as well. And especially during a pandemic, you got to wear a face covering when you're at school delivering a speech. It's hard. And when I'm in there in my classes for 50 minutes or an hour and 15 minutes and talking and talking and talking, you better believe it that I stumble over my words. Class, for you watching, you know this happens all the time. But that's okay. When this happens to you, take some time to collect yourself. Breathe, collect your thoughts. It's okay to take a pause for a few seconds. I don't know how many of you are Futurama fans. Check it out. I've shown my class this, but go to YouTube, type in Futurama dramatic pause. Calculon is one of the robots from this show, and you will see how he takes a dramatic pause, and Fry and Leela and Bender absolutely love it. Now, I incorporate this in my class because it directly relates to the lesson at hand, and once we get to it later, it ties in a little bit of humor, which I'll share with you guys in just a bit, but it's fun, and my class absolutely loves it. But remember, when you are stumbling over your words, when you are forgetting information, take some time to collect yourself, collect your thoughts, breathe, and you can deliver it. You can deliver that speech after that. So, why are your fears not rational? You are not in these classes to please other people. In the workplace, it may be different. You may be expected to deliver a fantastic speech at a sales pitch, at a meeting, or anywhere else, but this is directly related to the classroom. You are not there to please any other person except yourself. You are there to earn a grade. You are there to learn. You're not there to please your friends. You're not there to please your other classmates. They may love your speech. I, as a professor, may love your speech. But you personally, you are there to please yourself and not anyone else. This is your grade. So make sure you know that. Not everyone may be the most effective communicator. I get students all the time who may have a speech impediment, a lisp. They may be quiet. They may be really loud. But that doesn't mean you can't do a speech. That doesn't mean you cannot deliver an effective speech. In life, you may not be the most effective communicator. It's understandable. I've seen several people who just don't like talking. And at times, people may not like that, but you just may not be the most effective communicator. I'm sure each and every one of you who watch this video have given a speech in the past. With those speeches, you might have done really well or you might have done really poorly. And I have done that as well. Whether it was in middle school, high school, college, I gave speeches that were absolutely atrocious, and I also gave speeches that were incredibly just performed well. Today, I'm a professor of communication. I love what I do. Hey, and I'm still not the most effective communicator. I still stumble over my words at times. I forget my information at times when I'm talking. But all we can do is practice and become better. Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice just helps us become better, and especially with public speaking. Next thing we're going to be looking at is the fight or flight response. In my public speaking class, they were recently watching some videos on this. This is your body's natural reaction to something that you're fearful of. And public speaking being something that everyone is fearful of, your body is going to initiate the fight or flight response. So what are you going to do? Are you going to run from the challenge, or are you going to stay there and fight the challenge of public speaking? You've done it in the past. You're going to do it now. You know you can do it. And you will deliver a fantastic speech. Tell yourself that. And moving into number 3, overcoming these fears. Number 1, you need to incorporate some positive self-talk statements. In Chapter 2 in our class, which we haven't gone over yet this semester, and for those watching here, perception often becomes your reality. And you'll find this to be true for a lot of people. If you perceive yourself to have like a negative self-esteem or just a negative view of yourself in general, that view of yourself will become your reality, and it's going to be a struggle for you. I understand there are people out there who do struggle with this. At times, I've had this in the past. I still have it today. I battle depression, anxiety, and a lot of people do. But there are ways we can overcome that. There really are. Try to incorporate some positive self-talk statements about yourself before delivering a speech. Tell yourself, I can do this. I can deliver this speech. And once you do it, in the future, you know you will be able to do it over and over again. That'll really bring you up and help you. So, become comfortable with your surroundings. January of 2019 was the first time I started my job as a professor, and I cannot tell you how uncomfortable I was in that classroom. Here's a short story. My first day of teaching, my first class was 50 minutes long. I prepared 15 slides of an introduction for myself and a short introduction lesson, thinking, okay, 50 minutes is not too hard to go through in one of these lessons. We were there for 15 minutes, and on my face was just the most embarrassed I have ever felt. The class just looked befuddled, and then I dismissed everyone. But eventually, after about a month and a half to 2 months, I became more comfortable as an educator. I became more comfortable with my surroundings, delivering these lessons from the different chapters when it relates to public speaking, when it relates to perception, when it relates to mass communication, interpersonal relationships, all these different things. I became more and more comfortable, and now I'm in year 3 and delivering this awesome, hopefully decent communication video for you guys watching online. And lastly, I want to mention, incorporate some sense of humor. People love it when you don't have to try to be funny. You don't have to go over the top of things, but try to incorporate some sense of humor. In my classes, I try to do this. And sometimes it may be a hit, sometimes it may be a huge swing and a miss. But that's totally fine. Maybe poke fun at yourself. Maybe say, oh, I stumbled there. Maybe after your speech, don't do it during the speech, but after the speech, joke about something. Or try to incorporate a joke during your speech because it may lighten the mood and keep people's attention on you during your speech. So, today, what did we learn? We learned that you do have some different types of fears, but those fears really are not rational. In overcoming those fears, incorporate positive self-talk statements, become more comfortable with your surroundings, and incorporate some humor.